Tuned into another episode of the Locker Room alongside Jack Sullivan. I'm Sam Pierce. Welcome all. It's been a busy week in sports, but I think off the top of the show, Jack, we have to send our condolences to those down in Starkville, Mike Leach's family, all of his players and athletes, former players, everybody who's got to know such a historic coach who brought the air raid, of course, into college football and honestly the NFL. Rest in peace. He died this morning from complications of his heart conditions. Our condolences to Mike Leach and his loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very sad thing for the sport of college football and to the Leach family. You know, our prayers are up for him. It was very sad to wake up to this morning, and again, prayers out to his family.
Absolutely. I mean, he was apparently at practice on Saturday, and then the next day he started having those complications. You know, that you just got to cherish life, Jack, because you never know when it's your time. It comes out of the blue like that, unfortunately, and we hate to see it. Now, Mississippi State's gonna have to put themselves back together, and they'll be looking for a coach.
Very sad stuff.
For sure. Let's get into it, though. That's after we got that out of the way. Jack, Monday Night Football last night. Third play of the game, Kyler Murray. Immediately knew it was a torn ACL. I don't need to wait for an MRI or anything like that. I know a torn ACL when I've seen one. Seen it way too many times. Hate to see it. You really do. It's very unfortunate. It's been a really bad season for the Cardinals. I think if Cliff Kingsbury didn't get that extension before the season, he'd probably be gone. But with getting that extension, D-Hop missing the beginning of the season, Hollywood Brown getting hurt, and Kyler Murray missing games earlier and now hurt again. He kind of has a scapegoat to ensure that he'll at least be back there next year. You just really hate to see it. But Kyler has an injury problem, and they just paid him, and I don't know if he'll truly be able to fulfill that contract, Jack.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Cardinals have had the injury bug this year, and they've had some interesting coaching this year. I don't know what it is about the NFC West this year that everything just went bananas, that the Seahawks are, the team and, with that are making a run, but the 49ers still balling with Brock Purdy as their quarterback. It's a weird division. And I feel bad for the Cardinals because coming in, you would have thought, high expectations for Murray because, he thought he was going to have a chip on his shoulder with the whole playbook thing, and then injuries happened to him, the hamstring, and now this. It's not really going his way, and you really start to think, was football the way to go for him, right? Injuries wise.
Wow, you're taking it there. Wow. Okay.
Wow. I am taking it there because, you think of the money you look at baseball now. Probably if Kyler stayed at baseball, maybe he would be one less injured, and two probably would have made almost the same amount of money because of you just look at the money on the table now. Baseball money is ridiculous. And I'm just looking at it from like where the signings have happened in the past week or two, like with Verlander, and you look at Bogarts and all these guys getting the bag. Maybe Murray could have been on that table, but putting all that aside and that takeaway is I feel bad for Murray because of everything he's been through this season. The jokes, the COD jokes, the video game jokes, the playbook jokes.
Yeah. And
then for this to happen to him, he never really got the chance to prove himself this year. And when he was on the field, he was being pretty productive, and a lot of it wasn't his fault. It's been a lot of coaching decisions, a lot of play calls that have not gone his way. Like you said, not having D-Hop really killed him in the beginning of the season. He didn't really have a big number one target because Hollywood Brown was hurt. Everything was stacked against him, and it all came to this point. So you got to feel bad for QB1 over there. It's tough to be in that position, especially when you just got the bag too.
I mean, absolutely. I do think with their roster and the talent that they've assembled, I think they can be good in the future. At the receiving core, you got Hollywood Brown, Robbie Anderson, D-Hop. That's enough. That's a pretty good receiving core. Zach Ertz at tight end. I know he got hurt too as well earlier in the season, but James Conner at running back, but they can be okay. I think just Kingsbury has to really rein it all in. I'm not sold on him. I don't believe he ever should have gotten an NFL job. We know and we've been there. He had Pat Mahomes in college and didn't win anything. So no, I'm not impressed by anything he's done. The great Mike Leach was better than him at Texas Tech in his tenure. So it remains to be seen. We'll see if the Cardinals can really piece it together. Yes, the Patriots won, but no, I don't really care about the Patriots. Nobody's really scared of them. That offense stinks. Their defense is phenomenal. Defense is phenomenal. They're creeping in the top 5, top 10 in a lot of categories. But again, it's not good enough to overcome that inept offense, Jack.
Yeah, that offense is horrible. And as a Giants fan, it's great to see how unsure of himself Joe Judge is, because it's like, okay, it's not just us. I'm not saying the Giants are better because he's gone. But, I mean, they are. But my thing, but they stung. They've been stinking the past 5 games. But besides the point, like Joe Judge and Patricia are lost on the sideline. They don't use their personnel well. The injury bug has also caught up to them with Stevenson going out and Damian Harris getting hurt. And then you know what? Really like props last night to Aguilar, just seeing one of his teammates literally struggling on the field, and he has to take a knee when no one else is seeing that. Devontae Parker can't even stand up.
Yeah.
And so really props to him, but that offense is in trouble. Mac Jones waving off your offensive coordinator. What would you do if you ever waved off one of your coaches?
But believe it or not, NFL quarterbacks, that's more common than you think. They get a rhythm, They just don't, you won't see a wave, but they start running their own ish. They do. They have a lot quarterbacks with that cachet can do that. I saw Russell Wilson did it in Seattle. Hey man, I mean, come on now. He did it all the time. Brady would do it would depend. Aaron Rodgers.
I feel like I just don't think Mac Jones is at that level where he should be like waving off coaches. But I mean, if it's Matt Patricia, I guess it makes sense.
I wouldn't listen to him either at that point.
It's just horrible. I don't get how you can run an offense like that. And maybe that's why Belichick waited to not reveal who it's going to be, because he was ashamed that it had to be Matt Patricia. Like, they waited that long to announce it. I don't even think they actually formally announced it. They're just like, oh yeah, he's calling plays. Maybe Joe Judge is there too, because they're horrible. He's embarrassed to say that. Yeah, Josh McDaniels has been my guy for all these years, and now I got these 2 schmucks that can't call a play. That's probably why. Now everything comes full circle sometimes, and you get it figured out. And you're like, oh, as a fan, you're like, why have they announced it? Oh, they're ashamed. They're ashamed. And Monday Night Football games are turning into Thursday night games. They're not great games. Last night was such a like you couldn't watch the game for a while. It just was so defense. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like you said, the Patriots defense being as dominant as it is fun to watch. Matthew Judon's a great player. He's one of the best pass rushers in the game right now. But you can't. When you're thinking of games like that, you can't think, oh, Patriots Cardinals going to be a great primetime game, because it wasn't. It was not.
Not at all. And again, you're tuned into the Locker Room Podcast. Jack Sullivan and Sam Pierce. The Eagles, Jack. The Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts just put his stamp on the MVP, especially with Pat Mahomes throwing 3 picks last week, even though they won, even though he had that phenomenal flip play that we'll get into later. But I think Jalen Hurts has solidified himself as the MVP, and the Eagles are the favorite heading into the postseason. And that's not just in the NFC to me. I think them and the 49ers in the NFC, but in the league, this team is phenomenal, top to bottom. Roster construction, phenomenal. They have depth everywhere. They even went and reassured some depth at the D line, even with the big tackle Jordan coming back as well. But oh man, they're just so good. The receiving core, AJ Brown, it's crazy to say because he started off very well. I think he's getting better as the season's going on. I think this passing game that has been good all year has gotten better as the season goes along, and that's saying something. The timing, like that throw to Devontae Smith on the out route, just great anticipation. I can't speak enough about Jalen Hurts and what he's done to this football team. He's running the ball at a high rate. He's throwing the ball at a high rate. over 3,000 passing yards, Jack. 3,100, 22 passing touchdowns, add in 10 running. That's 32 total touchdowns. Really good stuff from him. And I think the only team that could realistically beat the Eagles is the 49ers, just stylistically, because they have the defense that can actually match up with that. But man, Jalen Hurts MVP and the Eagles may be in the Super Bowl, Jack.
Yeah, just one quick thought on that is as they're absolutely just cruising their way for a win against the Giants, you see on the sideline like AJ Brown and Pascal or Watkins, whoever it is on the sideline, they're laughing it up. They're having a good time. They're enjoying themselves. Yep. Who's there locked in, even though they're up 2 touchdowns? Jalen Hurts. Oh. I haven't seen something like that since Kobe. How locked in. And that's a mentality that scares other players. Is like they're up 2 or 3 touchdowns on the team. They're a confident team. They have the best record in football. Their quarterback is locked in. He's not just, enjoying himself and whatever it is. It's not c'est la vie to him. He's on a mission. He's focused. And that's scary. And I'm with you. MVP top runner, Jalen Hurts is coming for the Lombardi. He's coming for more. He's coming for all the teams. He doesn't care who's in his way. He's just going to play ball. So it's the NFC beast that is coming for everybody.
The NFC beast. We thought it'd be the least, but it's the NFC beast. And we are on a crash collision course. The Eagles, Cowboys on Christmas Eve. I can't wait. I think that's going to be phenomenal. But we did mention Pat Mahomes, and I guess that brings us to our favorite segment of the day, Jack. Hit it.
Hey, yo, what the?
It's that time when we tell you what made us go, hey, yo, what the? Jack, I wasn't going to do Tom Brady and those booty Buccaneers, but they're so garbage to me, I don't think they're worth my time, even though they'll probably make the playoffs. I want to talk about Pat Mahomes and that touchdown pass to Jerick McKinnon. When I saw that, we shouldn't be amazed anymore at things Mahomes does, but he still brings the fanboy out in all of us. He's out there just having a good time, bro. I mean, to attempt that is insane, Jack. As a football player, I couldn't fathom a quarterback attempting such a pass, let alone it working. That's a last-ditch effort. That would be a play of somebody's career. He's done that multiple times at this point. And I don't think he'll win MVP this year. I thought maybe I really had him in front of Jalen Hurts up until this last week. You can't throw 3 picks. I think Jalen Hurts only has 3 picks on the year. Kind of that Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady last year. Tom had all the touchdowns, but Aaron touchdown to interception ratio was phenomenal. And a team with a great record. I think that gets you the MVP. But oh my goodness, Mahomes is generational, man. And there's so many what the moments that he's already given us. I just can't wait to see what he gives us next, Jack.
Yeah, he's nuts. When I saw that, I remember being at work and everybody just freaking out, oh, he did that. I was what did he do? I was like, nothing's better than a Josh Allen hurdle, right? This dude just goes, and it is a complete pass. It's insane to me. I just the F it, Tyreek is there somewhere, but he's just F it, somebody's gonna catch it. I believe in somebody. And that's where
in football.
Yeah. He's like Jason Williams out there, just
white chocolate.
White chocolate, but Patrick Mahomes. So Kermit chocolate.
There's a guy in the radio who does phenomenal Kermit impersonation.
Kermit impersonation like this, you mean? It's pretty good.
You don't sound like him. You look like him, though.
Damn! That's messed up. No, I have a good Kermit impression. That's my AO. Sam, going off the rails. I'm going off the rails. You can't. Sam, one of my best talents is my impersonations.
I believe that. I just don't think that Kermit is one of them.
Kermit is one of them. Miss Piggy, it's definitely one of them.
People don't know if that's the guy who voices Kermit the Frog or not. He's joined the podcast.
I mean, I'm giving you some sort of accolade, you know.
Maybe another day we'll go through the list. We'll go through the list another day. All right. So my AO, it's a little more serious. It's Texas head coach Chris Beard. Dude, what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's a bad look. Texas, the university itself, the athletic department, everybody there has to get this right. They have to get this right. You can't just, unpaid leave and then come back, whatever, a fine and fix this. This is not a Mark Few situation. The DUI was one thing. And coaches mess up all the time, and and it's not like everyone's perfect. Not that everyone's perfect human being. This assault by strangulation, suffocation, family violence offense, a 3rd level felony. He got off of bail $10,000, maybe a little more. I don't know if it was dyslexic and not seen the number before, but that's bad. That's a message to your team. You are a role model. You're supposed to be a role model for these guys. These players, they do everything to change their lives and go play basketball for you at the University of Texas.
Yeah.
And that's the model you're setting. And I get it. Everybody makes mistakes. This is a felony. This is a horrible. This is how you treat somebody in your family. This is so you're telling your kids that someday you're gonna do an outburst. He knows it's not right. He better knows. But this is not. This was a horrible news to hear yesterday, on Monday, and Texas got the win with the assistant coach, and I'm shocked those kids even can go down the court and play, let alone go win a game. I know it was against Rice, but that to me is. You wake up and you imagine I can't imagine being those guys. Hey, your coach just got arrested. Yeah, it was a felony for violence against his own family. You are his family. You guys are family. That's the part that's damn. Part of my family's gone. The head of our family is not a good role model. That sucks. That sucks to hear. So I feel bad for those Texas players, and that's my AO.
What I will say on that, definitely 100% understand and feel exactly where you're coming from with that. And to start off, there's never a situation that warrants a man putting his hands on a woman in my eyes, ever. There's never a reason for that. What I will say that this situation is a tad bit murky from the details that have been released and that we already know. It's a little murky, and it's almost clear from the officers that even she admitted that she was the aggressor, and then he snapped, which again, I preface by saying there's never a reason to put your hands on a female. His lawyers completely deny these allegations, and it's allegedly said that he has a voice recording to clarify that the strangulation and those things, that it didn't occur that way. These situations are messy. This is a woman he's been with for 6 years, his fiance. There's a lot of moving parts to this. We will see how this pans out because there's 2 sides to every story and there's the truth. But again, it goes back to there's never a reason to put your hands on a woman. You walk away or you restrain her in a reasonable manner. But strangulation and biting, that's a little off-putting. But we do have to wait for the context in which things happen. If it's, for example, if she was, the aggressor and everything, she took his stuff and was trying to break things, or did she grab him and he bit his way to get, there's a lot, until we get the full picture, everybody has their right to due process, and he'll get that right, and if it comes out that he did in fact do these things out of malice and then those things, I think he needs to be out of there and he needs to be gone immediately. Of course, never a reason to put your hands on a woman. But we do have to wait and see and kind of see how things are going. Locker Room Podcast, Sam Pierce alongside Jack Sullivan. Jack, let's head to the hardwood.
Or on the hardwood.
What are your takeaways from the past week, Jack?
Yeah, I got a few. One of them, and you said this early on in our podcast, is Zion looked good. He looked good.
Come
and
on.
You were never wrong. You were never wrong, man. You were never. You did. You were never wrong.
Yep.
What he did to the Suns was one of the best things I've seen. I
hate him.
He made a bunch of crybabies cry.
Yep.
You know, when things don't go when the Suns don't go their way, you know, they complain and moan. And when the same thing in the playoffs, when they dunked on the Mavericks with you're up 10, they're dunking on them, and then they're like, oh, like they're just, you know, whatever. And CJ McCollum, he said you gotta play some defense.
Yeah,
I love it, man. And Zion,
and you got a rivalry.
And here's my thing about Zion that I really love. Everyone gave him crap about, you know, he doesn't want to be in the city and he doesn't want to do this, blah blah blah. The gumbo in New Orleans has been bad to him because he gained all that weight. Yeah, those guys look ridiculous. Everyone's saying it's all BS. He loves New Orleans. He is playing for no one but his teammates, and he's balling out. That's all he cares about. And now they're the first place team in the West.
Yes.
In the West. That's been incredible this year. So
I think they'll be a top 4 seed. I think they will, in fact, 100% be a top 4 seed in the Western Conference. And they can, like I told you to start with Zion, they can beat anybody, Jack. They can beat anybody.
Yeah, I think injuries are a little concerning right now with Herb being hurt and BI coming in and out of the lineup, and BI is a star. You know, so they need that consistency to really make a push later on in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think their spark is Jose Alvarado coming off the bench. Like when he came in on Thursday, and he really just made that impact right away when he stepped on the court. They started off slow against the Suns, and Jose Alvarado comes in, and they were down 8, and he came back. He came in the game, and they were making a push.
Yeah. So
I love seeing things like that. My other takeaway from the same night was Luka versus the Bucks. I know I talk about Luka every week, but this was crazy. When he dunked on Drew Holiday, and that was insane. Luka needs help, big time.
Yes.
He needs help. Dorian Finney-Smith is not going to be. He can't be the third or fourth option anymore. Dorian Finney-Smith is a defensive guy. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a very good shooter, but he's not a second guy. Christian Woods is a very good post player, but his defense stinks. He's not a good defensive player, so they need a good 3-and-D guy first of all, and they also need a second star with him. I saw this podcast. It was very interesting. It was you know, where would you put players now from guys back then? So if you had a guy like AI, like some guys said the Knicks, and some guys said put him back in Philly
and put him with Luka.
Imagine a guy like Dwayne Wade with Luka. Dude, that would be crazy. That would be one of the best 2-1 punches I've seen in that guard position. But I think for Luka right now, when you think of current players, because Dwayne Wade's not going to come out of retirement, you gotta really look around and see, okay, where can we find the best fit for him? Or I don't mean different team wise. I mean obviously player, because there's no way the Mavericks would be stupid enough to get rid of Luka. But I would see teams like that are shopping, like the Raptors, or I would see teams like the Pistons getting rid of Saddiq Bey. I'm not saying Saddiq Bey is the second coming. I'm just saying like that's a good piece you can fill around as well. But you got to get my man Luka some help, because he's balling out there, and he's just going to get tired at some point. Jalen Brunson was his number 2, and now he's on the Knicks, and it's tough. It's tough for them to get things going when you have no defense. And I'm not saying they're bad at defense, because they're a very good defensive team, and Jason Kidd prides himself on that. But when your last resort is Maxi Kleber and Christian Wood, it's not a great look. There's no Kristaps Porzingis 7-footer down there.
Absolutely. Luka does need help. I don't think the Mavs will win any championship until he does get help. It'll be another Michael Jordan Chicago deal until Michael got Scotty. Nobody can win a championship alone. Nobody ever has. You got to have at least 2 stars. I mean, that's just how it goes. Closest to ever come was AI, and then maybe LeBron in 07, but it's just not going to happen. You can't win. You can't get all the way over the hump. You can get to a conference finals or maybe the finals, but that's it. They got to get Luka some help. They got to help him out. I got a couple takeaways this week as well, Jack. Two teams who were the laughing stock, main headlines. Everybody's talking about the Lakers and Nets. Nets have won 8 of the last 9. Jack, they're coming.
Yeah, they look good.
I told people, I said, listen, he ain't played in a year and change. I know we don't like the guy. I'm not the biggest Ben Simmons fans, I'll tell you that. But I know after a year and change layoff, he's going to need a little bit of time. And he's on a new team. It's not like he's coming back to even his same team. To adjust to the system, his teammates, it's coming. He's adjusting. They're looking better and better. I still think they need a big. I still do think maybe Boogie Cousins or something is in play. I don't know why Boogie Cousins isn't on a roster. I think he was phenomenal backing up Jokic in Denver. I think the Nets need to grab him and maybe make a move for somebody else. But otherwise, their roster is good. And when you have talent like that, the dark clouds don't last but so long. And then the Lakers are coming too. When their core plays, since Russ has been coming off the bench, they're a pretty damn good basketball team. They're winning. Like when both of them play, of course. And it's not saying that they're perfect, but holy crap. Like, I don't think they'll win a championship, but I didn't think they would make the playoffs a month ago. I think they'll make the playoffs now. I didn't think the Russell Westbrook thing would truly work unless he was coming off the bench. And then I even thought that wouldn't be that great. I was wrong. It's looking phenomenal. Russ and AD have found that rapport. And I think that was the most important thing, that Russ and AD find a rapport more than so Russ and LeBron. LeBron and AD have been there, done that. I think those two getting on the same page has changed things. And they're buying in on the defensive end. Austin Reeves is great too. I think I saw rumors that they're maybe trying to get Bogdanovich. I think he would be a phenomenal addition. And if all it costs is Pat Bev in the first year, do it immediately. And my last takeaway is my Celtics. We dropped this last one last night against the Clippers, and we dropped that one against the Warriors that I really wanted to win just from a psychological standpoint, but we will see them later. We need Time Lord. We do.
Yeah.
We're phenomenal. We're a 1 seed. We're still phenomenal, but that's who we're really waiting on. I think once we get Time Lord back, people haven't even seen. I think what we're truly capable of, Zach. That's truly what I feel.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a 2-horse race right now in the East with us in Milwaukee. I think Brooklyn's creeping. I think Philly's creeping around the edge, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel bad for Robert Williams. He's a great guy. He's a great role. His role is crucial for the Celtics going forward. He was big in the finals, or the Eastern Conference Finals and the finals. So I think that his role will be the turning point of the Celtics season. Not that they need to turn it around. I'm saying like that will be you're already going fast. Let's go faster. Let's get there first. My last thing about the NBA is more so on the commentating side. I think Ryan Ruocco, JJ Redick, and Richard Jefferson. I think they're going to be some of the best commentators that we have for a little bit. Ryan Ruocco has been one of the faces of Yes Network and calling Nets games with the Iron Eagle, and then him doing some Yankee games, and then he was the voice of the WNBA. So I love listening to Ryan Ruocco. I think he's great. And then obviously JJ Redick and Richard Jefferson are two of the funniest guys, and they also they know the game of basketball really well. So I'm glad listening to them. I think it's time we hit the shower, Sam.
Time for Hit the Showers on the Locker Room Podcast.
All right. My hit the showers is this, Sam. By the next time you see me on the little Zoom screen here, I will be a professional snowboarder. When I mean professional snowboarder, I mean I'm going snowboarding for the first time in my life. So if I come back with a broken neck and I have the cast like this, you'll know why. I'm going to Vermont.
Etiquette, so I'm very surprised at that. I mean, Jesus Christ. I just figured you have already snowboarded.
Never. I have never snowboarded in my life, ever. I've played basketball my entire life, and all the coaches said you can't do both. You can't snowboard and you can't do this. So I was never able to do it. And then just throughout college and ever since then, I haven't been. So this is gonna be my first time. I went to a ski lodge before, but I couldn't go snowboarding because I just came off shoulder surgery. So I didn't want to mess all that up by going snowboarding. Ruin my entire life by going snowboarding. So we're gonna do it now that I'm healthy and semi-coordinated. We'll figure it out.
Love it. My boy's going snowboarding. I've been talking about either going snowboarding or skiing at American Dream Mall back in Jersey. I think me and my girl will do that at some point this winter for sure. I definitely want to try it out. I want to take my big old self down the slopes, you know. Gonna be a lot of black ice. America's worst enemy, black ice. My hit the showers. You know, I was producing the Sports Center show for ESPN Radio last night, and just looking up on ESPN2 and seeing LeBron and Melo and their sons on the ESPN2 playing against each other. So much deja vu, so much everything, so many good feelings. I love to see black men being fathers, being showcased and broadcast for everybody to see.
And the Kardashians were there.
And the Kardashians were in the spot. Do you know how hard it has to be a high school basketball player and Kim Kardashian walks in? Like, holy, like, how do you lock in?
We're playing basketball, yeah.
How do you lock in? How do you lock? And you're in shorts. Ain't no hiding, Jack. I don't need. Hey, you in shorts and the Kardashians walk in. Hey man, you got to lock in on your task. So the mental toughness for ESPN and the Kardashians to be there, and you still got to play a high school basketball game. That's tough. That's a high degree of difficulty. I love seeing it though. It was just so great to see. I think Lala and Carmelo really dropped the ball, not naming their son LaMelo, because we could have had LaMelo versus Bronny. You know, Melo versus Bronny. I'm just saying. I mean, Bronny's real name is LeBron James Jr. Where do we get Cayenne if we're not talking pepper? Whatever. I'm just saying, LaMelo, Lala and Carmelo, LaMelo. They how did LeVar beat him? I don't understand. I mean, I'm just saying, LaMelo would have been fine. But it was so great to see that. So great to see black fathers be present. And it was a pretty good game, even though I think Bronny scored 12 and Cayenne scored 8. I'm like, dang, you know, come on, Bronny, you're a senior. You can't drop 12 with the Kardashians in there. But I'm like, he doesn't see them too many times. Them is just like neighbors to him. Okay, whatever. That's my hit the shower, Jack.
Yeah, I like watching Bronny play last night. He saw a lot of he's good on the defensive end. That's what I like. He anticipating passes just like his father. Just like his father.
Yeah, but I seen a tweet. It was like ESPN every time Bronny and Cayenne does something. And it was such a be entertaining. Like, boy, y'all look just like your daddy. You look just like your daddy. Dying, bro. I
saw you tweet that. That had me laughing pretty hard because it's true. And it's like anytime like Bronny's jump shot. Oh, that's not like your daddy. He don't shoot like that. He don't shoot like that. But when he stole that ball and dunked, he cocked it back and dunked it. And he goes, "Oh, just like your daddy. That's your daddy."
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I loved it. Love seeing black nepotism.
Love it.
Woo!
They also made top plays last night, which I did. So, but it wasn't Bronny or Cayenne Pepper. It was Jimmy. Jimmy with the hard last name going to San Diego.
I know you're talking about. I would not try to pronounce that name either. That's all we got, man. That's a wrap. Another episode of The Locker Room. You can catch us on Apple Music, on Spotify. Shoot, we might be on LimeWire soon. Just keep your eyes posted. I don't know. Could make a comeback. You can catch us on YouTube. The visual dropping there weekly. We got a lot of guests coming up in the next few months, Jack. Very excited. Another great show, brother.
Make it work. Go listen to us. Do us a favor.
Subscribe.
Do it.